All right, guys, joining us here on the program is one of the most controversial welterweights in the UFC. Never a dull moment when he's on. Also, of course, the interim champ himself, Colby Covington. Welcome back to the program. Looking good there, man. How are you?
Gentlemen, good to talk again. I'm doing great. No complaints here.
This looks like arguably the comfiest couch in the world. Where is this? Where are you joining us from right now?
Yeah, this is a very comfortable couch. You can do multiple sex positions on it, and it's at my house right now.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I was going to say, Cass, there's a lot to talk to Colby about because we'll be kicking off with just this because it's fresh. Anthony Smith was on the MMA Hour earlier this week. He had a few things to say about you. Did you see his comments, Colby?
Yeah. I mean, he's a total mark. You know, the guy, he hasn't beat anybody that wasn't 10 years past their prime, that coming off the steroids. You know, he's on, a 3-fight win streak, and he was just getting knocked out by 85ers. So, I mean, the guy's a complete joke. I mean, everything he's saying, oh, we were in a gym. Dude, you never came up to me in the gym. Like, you trained on the opposite side of the gym. Who's the bitch, you know? Like, the guy's irrelevant. You know, he shouldn't even be fighting for a title, but hats off to him, man. He's getting a title shot, but I'm gonna stick to winning belts. He's never gonna be winning a belt, so that's something we ain't gonna have to worry about. I'm gonna stick to winning belts and go to the White House.
I was going to say, sort of considering, he brought up an interesting point sort of about that Chicago incident. Considering some of the shots you've taken other fighters, you know, and some of the feathers you've ruffled, do you ever feel like, you know, you have to watch your back when you're around some of these fighters, Colby?
Yeah, of course. You know, these guys are all filthy animals. All these rotten cage fighters, you know, we get locked up in a cage, and they're also sensitive with words and some things that you say to each other. You know, everybody's in their feelings and shit. That's why all these fighters are a joke. You know, no one truly cares about them. But yeah, I got to watch my back, but it is what it is. You know, I got a good security team. I got a lot of good fighters around me. So, you know, I'm not too worried about any of these jabronis.
Yeah, and Anthony did say he has no real issue with you, but just to clarify, where do you sort of stand with him when it comes to sort of Anthony Smith? And if you did run into him again, how would you anticipate that sort of run-in to go?
You know, I could give a fuck less about the guy. You know, he's a junior. You know, he's not on my level. He has, you know, he shouldn't be talking to a king. You know, he's never gonna win a belt. He's never gonna go to the White House. So, you know, the guy's on an amateur, and he shouldn't even be fighting for a title. But he's in one of the weakest divisions in the UFC. So hats off to him. He gets his show up money to take a loss, and that's the end of him. We're focusing on me. I got a belt. You know, I'm defending that belt, and I got big things on the horizon. I could give a fuck less what happens if he comes up and does something. He'll get put on his head real quick if he tries to start something with me.
It's interesting that you mention that because the light heavyweight division definitely doesn't have the talent that welterweight or lightweight or even some of the other divisions have. Does it sort of annoy you that here you are in the welterweight division and you've been campaigning for this fight with Tyron Woodley, a fight that fans have wanted to see? And here he is, Anthony Smith, in the light heavyweight division, in a division where there's not so much, I suppose, competition to see who fights for the title. And he's fighting John Jones, UFC 235.
Not really. You know, I'm not one to complain and you know, get salty over someone else. You know, what's happened in other divisions, good for them, man. I'm happy for them. That's good. You know, they need to keep that energy, keep trying to make money. That's what it's all about. This is a business. So, you know, hopefully they can be smart and entertaining, which is something he's not, and he'll never know about. He doesn't know how to promote a fight, and he's a complete mark. He's talking about, you know, pretty much promoting me while he's got the biggest fight of his life in a title fight. So these guys are all jobbers. They don't know what they're doing, and that's why, you know, they're company men. You know, that's something I'm not. I'm self-made. UFC never, you know, made me. I built myself. I called my own shot to the White House. I won my own title, you know. So, you know, I know how to do the business, and this is the entertainment business.
Well, you mentioned something just now, and that's obviously being a company man, something that I feel like used to be, and now you're almost like Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Attitude Era. It's almost like you against the boss. What exactly is the latest as far as your return to action and obviously your relationship with the UFC these days?
Yeah, I mean, I made my relationship public. You know, I could give a fuck less about the UFC. I could care less about Uncle Fester. To be honest, you know, Uncle Fester just decides title shots these days. It's his little playground, you know. If you can get a title shot if you know, he likes you and you go suck up to him and get some meetings with him and, you know, just pretty much be his little bitch, you know. So, you know, I don't have a relationship with the UFC. I could give a fuck less about the UFC, but, I deserve to be in the biggest fights. I have a title. No one's ever beat me for that title. I'm America's champion. I'm the people's champion. So, it is what it is. We're going to move on to big business, whether it's in the UFC or somewhere else. I could give a fuck less. I'm an independent contractor, and I do whatever I want. No one tells me what to do. I'm my own boss, and the UFC knows that now.
Just to be clear, with the UFC, Dana said that he offered you that fight, but you couldn't do it, obviously, because you had to have a surgery. But have they tried to offer you any other fights since then? Have they been in touch at all about what their plans for you are? And have they actually tried to get you fight someone outside of Tyron Woodley and not have a title shot in your next fight? Have they tried to propose that to you?
No, I have nothing. I haven't heard anything from them. They know where I stand. They know I'm not fighting for anything less than a title. So, if they can't bring me a title fight, then don't even come to my phone, because I'm not going to do any favors for you. I'm not going to do anything for you. So, they fucked me, man. Like, trying to offer me a fight on 4 weeks' notice, and I had a nose surgery. And then your UFC doctor, not my doctor. I went to your UFC doctor, and your UFC doctor said I couldn't fight back in September in Dallas. And now all of a sudden, he couldn't fight. He should have showed up to fight, and they're all mad that their little contender, Daryl the Doughboy, got all his hype train derailed. So now they want to try and punish me for it. So, it's a complete joke. It's a circus. The UFC is so corrupt. It's a fucking joke, man. I feel so sorry for all these other fighters. Like, if they could do this to me, all these other fighters should see they could do it to anybody. I got a belt. I went to the White House. I had a great relationship with the UFC. Did a lot of things for the UFC. Flew all over the world. Fought for little paychecks. Never ever complained once. Did whatever they said. Showed up on short notice fights. 2-week fight notice. Everything. And so if they could do this to me, they could do it to anyone. So it's a complete joke right now in the UFC.
When would you say was the last time that you and Dana spoke? Has he reached, like, since you've been sort of calling him Uncle Fester and sort of, been very public about the way you feel about these things, has he reached out to you to try and sort of, discuss this situation?
Nah, he's a little child, man. He wouldn't even talk to me, like, after he made that decision, and I never even said anything to him. I was like, yo, let's just have a meeting. Let me come talk to you, explain like why you feel the way you feel about me, and let's talk this out and get this settled, and they wouldn't give me a meeting. They give meetings to every single other fighter, but they wouldn't give me that meeting. So, that's why I chose that route. I could give a fuck less about him anymore. I'm not here to make anybody happy. I'm here to do business. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. So, that they know what it is now. And if they can't let me do that, then they need to let me go and go do it somewhere else. So that's just where we are.
It's interesting. I mean, you mentioned that you wanted your release if the UFC wasn't going to sort of do, big things with you. What is your timeline in your mind and your expectations? Do they have a time limit as to how long they have to sort of book you into this fight with the champion after UFC 235? And is there a certain date in your mind where if that doesn't happen, you'll be actively trying to get out of the contract and fight somewhere else?
The good thing about me is that I'm so young and I'm improving every single day at American Top Team. So my future is very bright, and you haven't even seen the best of me yet. I'm still young in the game, and every day that goes by, I'm still getting better, still improving. So, that's what I'm using this time for. This is a process. This is a journey, and there's ups and downs, and I'm giving them till the end of this year. They got another year to figure it out, shit or get off the pot. That's how it's got to be, and I have a legitimate case for some of the shit they've done to me. I mean, it's ridiculous, but we'll go there when need be.
I'm interested because obviously you've done so much great work in promoting yourself and promoting your fights. It almost kind of looks like the UFC never really kind of got behind a lot of the stuff that you were doing. They never really capitalized on some of the stuff that you were doing. When you look at some of these other companies like a Bellator, for example, or One, do you ever imagine what it would be like if a company sort of got behind you with all the work that you do to sort of even amplify all the stuff that you've done even further? Have you sort of thought about what that would be like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from day one, the UFC's never put up a picture of me, never promoted me, never did anything. And they say they want their stars to build themselves, and I did that exactly for them. And then they still treat me the way they did. It's unbelievable. I'm a self-made man. I worked very hard to get to this point, and I did it on my own. I never had any help from anybody. So, for them to treat me like this it just makes me wonder and guess, yeah, what if I did have a promotion that was backing me and pushing me and bringing me to my state? I remember asking for a fight in Oregon. I'm from Oregon. They wouldn't even give me a fight in Oregon. Like, it was ridiculous, So, it is what it is, man. That's the business, and I'm not losing any sleep over it, man. I can tell you what, I'm on vacation right now with all my ladies in Miami, man. We having a good night. We having a good time. We partying. I'm still making money. That's the thing about the UFC. They can't slow me down. I'm a personality now. I do whatever the fuck I want. If I'm gonna go to WWE, I might be in WWE soon. So, I could give a fuck less if I ever fight in the UFC.
Just to set the record straight, Colby, obviously, you got Usman and Woodley coming up, but are you healthy at the moment? If the UFC did offer you a fight sometime soon, would you be open to taking it if it was the right fight? Could you take it physically?
Oh yeah, 100%. I've been training hard. I was staying ready in case someone got hurt. Obviously injuries happen a lot, but these guys, obviously they didn't get hurt this time. So it's too bad. I was going to be the bad guy to save the show. But yeah, I'm 110% healthy. Hopefully I can fight this summer. That's what I'm looking at. I see they're going back to Chicago in June. That's where I won my belt at. So it would be cool to go back to the United Center and do what I do.
It's interesting. They've got the big matchup at UFC 235, Usman and Woodley. But who do you think he'll be fighting for the title if this fight happens in Chicago? Do you believe Woodley beats Usman, or do you think Usman wins? And sort of, I guess in a lot of ways, it's a negative because there's so many fans that want to see you fight Woodley.
Yeah, Woodley's gonna starch Usman for sure. I mean, it's a boring fight. It could go 5 rounds and just be a bore fest, and Woodley just back up to the cage and land his shots when he needs to. But he's a more experienced fighter. Snoozman hasn't even beat a guy coming off a win yet. All his guys he's beaten are guys off losses. So, he's inexperienced. He's not ready for the moment. And he barked up a tree that he's not ready for. He's not on that level. So he's going to get knocked out. And hopefully I can unify my title with Woodley and finish his career sometime this summer.
What did you make of Usman sort of getting upset at Ben Askren in the back? I think he was calling him Marty or something. And Usman sort of couldn't really take it in stride. He got very upset. Did you see that video? And what was your reaction to that?
No, I don't pay attention to anything those jobbers do. If anything, Askren was looking like a 36-year-old virgin, like a science teacher. What a joke he is. And then even the fact that Askren is calling Marty from Nebraska, that's a compliment to Marty. Marty's not even from Nebraska. He's from Nebraska-Kearney. He's a D2 scrub. He shouldn't even be on that spotlight. So, he should be thanking Askren for calling him Marty from Nebraska, because he ain't even eligible to be a D1 athlete. He's a joke. He's got a Nebraska-Kearney.
Just quickly, while we're talking about Ben Askren, Colby, how do you think he'll do in his UFC debut against Robbie Lawler?
Oh, well, I mean, Robbie Lawler, the most significant strikes to the head in UFC history. I mean, the guy should have been retired multiple years ago. I mean, he's my training partner. He was a former training partner. He was a friend of mine. I like Robbie Lawler. Like, he's a good guy. He's a gamer. He's a warrior. But man, he needs to hang it up, man. Like, I'm telling him right now, Robbie Lawler, hang it up, man. Like you have nothing else to prove. You have all the money. You got a family. Keep those brain cells. Keep your brain health, buddy. But yeah, Lawler's too old. Askren's gonna go out there, probably grind out a decision, and that's that. We'll see what happens when the dust settles.
I was going to ask, so at this point, you've got a few fights in the welterweight division, obviously Robbie Lawler, Ben Askren. You've got Darren Till against your arguably best friend, Jorge Masvidal. How likely do you think it is that you will be getting the next shot against the winner of Usman and Woodley? I know you haven't spoken to the UFC, so maybe it would be hard to gauge, but at this point, what are you feeling?
What am I feeling? I'm feeling that I'm untouchable. I'm the greatest welterweight of all time. No one's going to stop me, so it really doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I don't give a fuck who it is. Not a man alive is going to beat me right now. So I'm not really too concerned with the shady business tactics that the UFC does and what they want to do next. I know my worth. I know what I've done, my body of work, and what I bring to the table. No one promotes fights like me. People, I'm the most entertaining guy in the sport. I mean, love me or hate me, but you want to see me fight, and you're not going to turn the channel to Real Housewives of OC. So I don't really care about the others, man. All I care about is myself and what I'm doing, and no one's going to stop what I'm doing right now.
Did you find it funny that Tyron Woodley not that long ago was almost giving you advice, kind of saying, hey, you don't really want to trade barbs with the UFC, sort of almost being friendly towards you, almost looking out for you. It's probably the closest you guys have ever been to allies.
Well, you can't say the closest we ever been because we used to be, you know, good allies and good friends. I was helping him with his training camps and doing stuff. But now we're arch nemesis. We hate each other. This is not a fake beef. This is not manufactured beef like Snoozman's trying to put out there. That's a manufactured beef. But me and Woodley, we have unfinished business. And whatever he wants to fucking say, I don't need his fucking stupid ass opinion. He's treated like a little bitch as it is. You know, he's they're racist. UFC is so racist with me. That's his excuse for everything when he sits out for a year with fake injuries. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my knee. Oh, my finger, my pinky. So what a fucking joke fucking Tyron Woodley is. I mean, did you guys hear his new rap album that he just had that came out?
I heard one of his songs.
Not sure if the full album made its way down to Australia just yet.
We're still waiting. We're very behind here, Colby.
I don't blame you guys. Just stay behind. I'm telling you, you guys won't ever talk to me again if you listen to his latest song. It's a fucking joke, man. And what would Mama Woodley think? Mama Woodley, oh, her good little Christian boy, Tyron Woodley. I mean, she would be embarrassed and ashamed, and I feel sorry for her. Sorry, Mama Woodley.
Before we let you go, Colby, again, just to set the record straight, you mentioned Chicago. I think Chicago would be great. That'd be a great time for you to return to see you back in action. Are you accepting anything less than a title shot if the UFC offered you? Is there anybody else that can sort of intrigue you and excite you enough to come back other than a title shot? Or at this point, are you just waiting for the title shot and that's it?
Well, yeah, when they pay up what they owe me in the contract, I'll fight whoever it is. I don't give a fuck. They could put whoever they put in front of me, they're getting dropped and they're getting knocked out. So, you know, as long as they're going to pay up what's in my contract, which is championship pay, I don't really care. I'll fight whoever it is. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to fight for a fifth of the paycheck against some of these jobbers. I'm only fighting for my championship pay, nothing less.
Wow. Well, there you guys. It's a message for the UFC. If you want to stop this man from going to the WWE and making big money over there, make sure to book him in a big fight, the title fight in June. Of course, follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Colby Cov MMA. Colby, we really appreciate your time, man. We hope to see you booked soon, and we hope to see this fight come together because it's an exciting one we all want to see.
Yeah, I hope so too, guys. Much love. I hope you guys have a great night. Talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Talk
Colby.
to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.